Former President Donald Trump is launching a more active phase of his time since leaving the White House. Speaking at the North Carolina GOP convention Saturday night, the former president hinted at another run for the White House in 2024 and also vowed to be an active participant leading to next year's midterm elections. A 74-year-old said, quote, "The survival of America depends on our ability to elect Republicans at every level." Joining us now is John Schweppe, Director of Policy and Government Affairs at the American Principles Project. John, welcome back. Great to see you again. As we just mentioned, former President Trump spoke at the North Carolina GOP convention over the weekend. Why do you think he is starting to reemerge now?
Well, I think it's important for him to do these kinds of events. You know, he's been banned from social media and isn't getting a lot of coverage from the mainstream media. So this is really important to let people know he's out there. Donald Trump is back, baby. And, I think that's really important for 2022 because ultimately he is still the figurehead for the Republican Party. And if they're going to turn out their voters in 2022, win back the House and hopefully the Senate, they're going to need him fully engaged and working to get some of these folks elected.
Yeah, and his advisors say that he is likely to make appearances in Alabama and Florida, Georgia, and also Ohio. John, what impact, if any, do you think his presence and support will have on the 2022 midterms and going forward?
Well, I think it's, an important endorsement of what the Republicans are trying to do. As we saw with the Georgia special elections, there was a turnout problem on the Republican side. And, voters are feeling pretty upset right now with the state of where things are going in America. So I think he can use his voice here and get people excited and let them know that a lot of these Republicans who are running, especially some of these outside the Beltway types who are running now for the first time for public office, these guys want to go there and enact his agenda. And I think voters are going to see that and be very excited and very willing to turn out to vote.
As Eric reported a little earlier, Senator Joe Manchin says that he will vote against the For the People Voting Act put forth by progressive Democrats. He also says that he is against ending the filibuster. Can you put these in perspective for us? How big of a deal do you think that is?
Well, I think he's certainly being a patriot here. I think he's recognizing that, America is divided more so now than it has been in a very long time. And he's looking at, what would happen if the Democrats got everything they wanted? Does that really look good for the Republic going forward? I also do want to point out, though, we saw this in 2017 with the Obamacare repeal bill. John McCain famously, gave a thumbs down and took the bullet for not repealing it. And Republicans were extremely upset with him over that decision. But it was reported at the time that McCain probably took that vote for several Republicans who were not feeling great about it. And I think this is probably a similar situation. There's a lot of Democrats who maybe aren't on board with some of the far left socialist things that the Democrats want to impose. And so Manchin is, being brave here, but he's standing up and taking the bullet for him.
Well, John, as you know, Vice President Kamala Harris is in Guatemala today to discuss the root causes of migration from Central America. What do you think will come from her meeting with Guatemala's president? And do you think it will do anything to help stop the flow of migrants to the U.S.?
Well, I think it's good that she's finally doing this. This has been going on for a very long time, and we've heard almost nothing from the Biden administration. But, ultimately, the problem here in the U.S. with all these migrants coming over the border, making this dangerous trek and risking their lives. The problem is our policies. And Joe Biden ran on the idea that we weren't going to have border enforcement anymore. That's been the policy of his administration, and it's creating real problems. And I think it's not fair to a lot of these migrants who are coming over seeking a better life, who are being told one thing and then they get here and it's something completely different.
John, we have about a minute left, but I do want to ask you this last question. After the release of thousands of Dr. Fauci's emails from some Republican lawmakers, that is, are calling for new investigations into the origins of the coronavirus, and also some are calling for Dr. Fauci to step down or to be fired. Democrats, however, say the emails show no signs of wrongdoing. I want to get your thoughts on that and how you see this all playing out.
Well, I think the emails were very revealing. Donald Trump actually said this in his speech, that Dr. Fauci turned out to be more of a promoter than a doctor. And we see that in the emails. It's kind of back and forth, a lot of flip-flopping. Masks are good, masks are bad. It's questionable as to how he actually did his job. The other thing that I think we're going to really see in the coming weeks is, what did Dr. Fauci know about this gain of function research? Gain of function being the research that basically makes these viruses worse and more deadly. Were we involved in that? Was Dr. Fauci directly involved in that? And so I think there's going to need to be a lot of investigation into this. Republicans are right to put the pressure on the Biden administration to distance themselves from him, and we'll see where this goes.
Yeah, seems to be an unraveling story, so more to come. Thanks so much, John. Appreciate it. John Schweppe, Director of Policy and Government Affairs at the American Principles Project. Thanks again.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.